What if everything you believe is a carefully constructed illusion? A secret CIA document reveals the hidden methods they use to shape your reality and how these techniques are used on you every single day. This isn't just about government conspiracies, it's about your personal freedom. Without understanding these techniques, you're unknowingly vulnerable, a puppet dancing to strings you can't even see. The implications are staggering. These methods aren't confined to smoky backrooms. They're influencing political discourse, dictating cultural trends, and subtly molding our collective beliefs. But what if you could learn to see the strings? What if you could hack reality itself? Understanding these methods is the first step toward reclaiming your power, challenging your own limiting beliefs, and actively creating the reality you desire. This video serves as a call to critical thinking, a challenge to blindly trust authority, and an invitation to seize control of your own experience. We're going to pull back the curtain on a world that has been hidden in plain sight. But why would the CIA be interested in shaping reality in the first place? The answer, in many ways, starts with the Cold War. Locked in a silent battle for global dominance, the US government became convinced that controlling the human mind was the ultimate weapon. This led to a deep, often disturbing, exploration of human consciousness with the goal of weaponizing it. Belief systems and psychological biases are the primary mechanisms through which reality is shaped. Think of your beliefs as a filter, a lens through which you interpret every single experience. Confirmation bias, for example, leads you to seek out information that confirms what you already believe, reinforcing your existing worldview, regardless of whether it's accurate. Anchoring bias subtly influences you by making you rely too heavily on the first piece of information you receive. This is actively exploited in everything from pricing strategies to political narratives. In this video, we'll be drawing from a range of sources, including declassified CIA documents, cutting-edge research in psychology and neuroscience, and even ancient spiritual teachings. We'll reveal the astonishing patterns that emerge when you compare CIA operations with media narratives and advertising campaigns. You'll start to see the same manipulation techniques repeated across wildly different contexts, all stemming from the same underlying strategies. Imagine a montage of clips, a scene from MK Ultra followed by a political ad, and then a snippet from a popular news broadcast. Can you spot the similarities? But the crucial question isn't just, is someone pulling the strings, but how are they doing it? Why are they doing it? And most importantly, can we stop them? Beyond the infamous MK Ultra, the CIA explored even more ambitious projects with goals that sound like science fiction. Project Stargate, aimed at remote viewing. Project Monarch, with its chilling exploration of mass mind control. And many more. Each one represents a piece of the puzzle, a glimpse into the hidden world of reality shaping. We'll be dissecting specific techniques, like the relentless repetition of key phrases, the calculated use of emotional manipulation through fear, guilt, and shame, and the artful deployment of language to frame narratives and control thought. Imagine a split screen. On one side, a politician using loaded language to demonize an opponent. On the other, an advertisement preying on your insecurities to sell you a product you don't need. The underlying strategy is identical. Hijack your emotions and control your perception. Prepare to arm yourself with practical tools and techniques to reclaim control, from the grounding power of mindfulness and meditation to the transformative potential of belief reprogramming and the clarifying light of critical thinking. Get ready to dive deep, because the rabbit hole goes further than you ever imagined. Let's start by diving into some specific techniques documented in declassified CIA materials. Techniques like sensory deprivation, prolonged isolation, sleep deprivation, and even the use of hypnosis. On the surface, they seem like brutal interrogation methods, but there's a deeper psychological method at work here. Sensory deprivation, for example, drastically reduces the amount of external stimuli your brain receives. Why is that effective? When your mind is starved of external input, it starts to generate its own, often becoming more suggestible. The usual filters that keep reality stable begin to weaken, turning internal thoughts into seemingly external realities, making you more susceptible to outside influence. Similarly, sleep deprivation impairs cognitive function, weakening your ability to think critically and resist suggestions. You're not just tired, you're mentally vulnerable. The relentless repetition, the carefully calibrated stress. The goal isn't just to extract information, it's to fracture your sense of self, to erase the existing program and install a new one. The pattern here is undeniable. These techniques aren't just about interrogation, they are about deconstructing a human mind. MK Ultra sought to literally erase and rewrite a subject's personality. Take the case of Kathy O'Brien, who recounted horrifying experiences of systematic abuse and mind control. While the specifics of her testimony are debated, the underlying psychological principles at play are not. By systematically breaking down her sense of self, fragmenting her memories, and inducing extreme stress, the controllers aimed to create a blank slate, a mind that could be programmed with new beliefs, new identities, and new behaviors. That is, the goal was the creation of a Manchurian candidate. Based on what we know about human psychology, trauma, and the malleability of memory, it's chillingly plausible. But here's the unsettling truth. These techniques aren't confined to clandestine CIA operations. They are mirrored, often in subtly modified forms, in the world around you. Think about media framing, advertising strategies, and political propaganda. The relentless repetition of a political slogan designed to lodge itself in your subconscious. The carefully crafted narrative in a news report designed to evoke a specific emotional response. The advertising campaign that preys on your insecurities to sell you a product you don't need. Consider a declassified CIA training manual excerpt on psychological warfare, which outlines strategies for manipulating public opinion through the control of information and the exploitation of emotional vulnerabilities. Now, watch a modern political ad. Do you see the echoes? The same techniques designed to break down resistance and install new beliefs in a Cold War interrogation room are now being used to sway your vote, influence your purchasing decisions, and shape your understanding of the world. For instance, look at how the media uses emotional appeals to bypass critical thinking. During times of crisis, news outlets often focus on sensationalized stories and fear-mongering headlines. This creates a state of heightened anxiety, making individuals more susceptible to suggestion and less likely to question the information they're being presented. It's the same principle the CIA uses to weaken resistance, overload the senses, and induce a state of cognitive overload. It is, in essence, stress inoculation. This emotional manipulation makes it far easier to shape public opinion and control the narrative. And that's where psychological biases come into play. Confirmation bias, anchoring bias, the availability heuristic, these are just a few of the mental shortcuts our brains use to make sense of the world, and they can be readily exploited. Confirmation bias, as we mentioned before, leads us to seek out information that confirms what we already believe. So, how can this be used against us? Imagine a political campaign that focuses solely on reinforcing the existing beliefs of its target audience. By presenting information that aligns with their worldview, the campaign can strengthen their support, regardless of the accuracy or completeness of the information. Anchoring bias, on the other hand, influences us by making us rely too heavily on the first piece of information we receive. Think about a negotiation scenario where the initial offer sets the stage for all subsequent discussions. The availability heuristic leads us to overestimate the likelihood of events that are readily available in our memory. News coverage of a rare but sensational event can lead people to believe it's far more common than it actually is. These biases make us vulnerable, even when we think we're being rational. Imagine a real-world scenario where a crisis unfolds, a natural disaster, a terrorist attack, even a pandemic. In the initial hours, misinformation can spread rapidly through social media. Because of confirmation bias, people share articles and posts that confirm their pre-existing beliefs about the situation, regardless of whether those beliefs are accurate. This can lead to widespread confusion and panic, hindering effective responses to the crisis. It's not just that people are misinformed, it's that they are actively seeking out and amplifying misinformation that reinforces their existing worldview. But biases are amplified through belief systems. Think of belief systems as reality filters. They shape what information we attend to, how we interpret it, and what conclusions we draw. If you deeply believe in a particular political ideology, you're more likely to consume news from sources that align with that ideology. You're also more likely to interpret events in a way that confirms your existing beliefs. The same event, a political protest, a policy change, can be seen in radically different ways depending on your underlying beliefs. Consider this. A news event unfolds, let's say, a controversial Supreme Court decision. Depending on their political ideology, people will interpret the decision in radically different ways. Those who agree with the decision will likely see it as a victory for justice and the rule of law. Those who disagree will likely see it as a setback for equality and progress. The same news event is filtered through vastly different belief systems, leading to diametrically opposed conclusions. And this isn't just about politics. Religious beliefs, cultural values, even personal experiences can all act as filters, shaping our perception of reality. If our beliefs shape our reality, how can we know if our beliefs are even true or simply imposed on us by societal conditioning, cultural norms, or, yes, even targeted manipulation? And the tool used most often to manipulate reality is language. Language is used to frame narratives, control thought, and manipulate emotions. Loaded language, euphemisms, and framing techniques are all used in political discourse and media reporting to shape our understanding of the world. Take the term tax relief. It sounds positive, doesn't it? But it's often used to describe tax cuts that primarily benefit the wealthy. By framing these cuts as relief, politicians can make them more appealing to the general public, even if the actual impact is regressive. Euphemisms are used to soften the blow of unpleasant realities. Collateral damage is used to describe civilian casualties in war. Downsizing is used to describe layoffs. These linguistic manipulations can obscure the truth and make it harder to understand the real consequences of political actions. When we start recognizing these linguistic manipulations, we empower ourselves to see through the narratives and think for ourselves. Furthermore, techniques of emotional manipulation go straight to the heart of control. Fear, guilt, shame, these are powerful motivators that can be used to influence behavior and decision-making. Advertising campaigns often exploit our insecurities. Political rhetoric often invokes fear of the other. Think about a commercial for anti-aging cream. It preys on our fear of growing old, promising to restore our youth and beauty. Or consider a political ad that demonizes immigrants, portraying them as a threat to our jobs and security. Deconstructing advertisements or political messaging reveals the underlying manipulative tactics. What insecurities are they targeting? What fears are they invoking? By recognizing these emotional appeals, we can begin to disarm their power. The reason why is clear. These techniques bypass rational thought, directly influencing behavior at an emotional level. So, how do you reclaim your mind? How do you resist these pervasive forces of manipulation? It starts with awareness. Cultivate mindfulness. Observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment and question everything. Practice meditation to quiet the mind and increase your self-awareness. Seek diverse perspectives, challenge your own assumptions, and cultivate emotional resilience. These techniques provide the foundation for actively shaping your own reality, and it starts with a simple exercise. Take a moment to close your eyes and focus on your breath. Notice the sensation of the air moving in and out of your body. When your mind wanders, gently guide it back to your breath. Do this for just 5 minutes each day. You'll see the benefits accumulate rapidly. This simple act of present moment awareness can help you to create space between your thoughts and your reactions, allowing you to respond to situations with greater clarity and intention. And in the next section, we'll see exactly how that shift in perspective opens the door to actively shaping the reality you experience, and more importantly, the reality you intend to experience. So, you see how deeply intertwined external forces and internal vulnerabilities truly are. This isn't just about shadowy government agencies or manipulative marketing tactics. It's about recognizing that the reality you experience is constantly being shaped both from the outside and within. The key to freedom, the key to reclaiming your power, lies in understanding this duality. It's about seeing the connections. How CIA-style techniques echo in everyday societal programming, how psychological biases are exploited to shape public opinion, and how your own belief systems act as filters, coloring your perception of everything around you. External manipulation, in its most effective form, works by exploiting pre-existing weaknesses, your need for belonging, your fear of the unknown, your inherent cognitive biases. When you truly grasp this mechanism, you become far more aware of manipulation attempts, and more importantly, far less susceptible to their influence. This understanding, this awakening to the forces that shape your reality, isn't just about intellectual curiosity. It's about personal freedom, about reclaiming your autonomy, about living a more authentic life, aligned with your values and your intentions, not someone else's. The societal implications of widespread manipulation are staggering. The erosion of critical thinking, the proliferation of misinformation, the suppression of individual expression, all leading to a society that's increasingly divided and easily controlled. But imagine the alternative, a society where individuals are empowered to think for themselves, to question everything, to create their own realities. Reclaiming your individual power to shape your reality isn't just a personal journey. It's an act of resistance, a contribution to a more conscious and empowered world. This knowledge isn't just about understanding, it's about transformation, about catalyzing change within yourself and within the world around you. And how do you begin this transformation? By consistently practicing the techniques we've discussed: mindfulness to observe your thoughts and emotions, meditation to quiet the mind and cultivate self-awareness, and critical thinking to question assumptions and seek diverse perspectives. These aren't just abstract concepts, they're practical tools for reclaiming your mental sovereignty. For instance, next time you encounter a news article that triggers a strong emotional reaction, pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, what is this article trying to make me feel? What assumptions is it based on? What perspectives are missing? Actively question everything. So can they be stopped? Yes, but not through some grand, sweeping revolution. It's about an individual awakening, multiplied by millions. The how lies in cultivating awareness, the why lies in reclaiming your freedom, and the power to stop them lies within you. Know that you have the power to change your own life, to contribute to a more conscious world, and to become the architect of your own reality. But what are the limits of reality shaping? Can we truly create anything we desire, or are there inherent constraints? What are the ethical considerations? If we can shape our own realities, do we have a responsibility to create a better world for others? These questions open up even wider areas of exploration. The role of technology in shaping reality, from the algorithms that curate our social media feeds to the immersive experiences of virtual reality. Could these same techniques be used for positive change? Could we create more positive narratives, promote critical thinking, and foster a more conscious and compassionate society? What if we use the same techniques that the CIA used, but for good? Try incorporating mindfulness into your daily routine for just 1 week. Question one belief you hold every single day. Notice the impact it has on your perception, your emotions, and your ability to navigate the world with greater clarity and intention. In future videos, we'll dive even deeper, exploring advanced techniques for belief reprogramming, the neuroscience of reality creation, and case studies of individuals who have successfully shifted their realities. Subscribe and stay tuned. The journey has just begun.